Hejsan, mitt namn är Martin John. Oh, I should take this in English. Hello, my name is Martin Johnson and I'm the CEO of Alzecure Pharma. I'm here to present the company, who we are, the pipeline we have built and the science that we are building our projects on and the progress we are doing as a company. Let's see. When it comes to Alzecure Pharma, we are a company who are focusing on Alzheimer's disease and pain. And as a company, we were founded as a commercial company in 2016, but the company stems from AstraZeneca. So when AstraZeneca left the CNS space, Alzheimer's disease and pain, a group of scientists from AstraZeneca founded Alzecure. We are a very experienced team from early drug discovery and into development and commercialization. And we are based here in Stockholm at Karolinska Institute to be close to academia and the patients. As a company, we have built up three research platforms. We have NeuroRestore, which is a novel first-in-class symptomatic treatment for cognitive disorders, where we are focusing on Alzheimer's disease. Then we have Alzstatin, which is a disease-modifying platform to prevent that individuals are developing Alzheimer's disease or to delay disease progression. And our third platform is Painless, where we are having two projects within pain, in osteoarthritis and neuropathic pain. As a company, we went on the stock market in 2018. We have a market cap of around 1/4 of a billion Swedish. And then we are having a cash position of 63 million Swedish crown as reported recently. Our business model as a company is that we are a research and development company. And our strategy is to drive our projects into through early clinical phase, as we define as up to phase 2, and then to out-license or partner on our projects. And based on that, to finance the company through upfront payment, milestone payments, and royalties. The pipeline we are having consists of 6 projects, and all of these projects are small molecules. We have very consciously chosen to work with small molecules, really, since our targets are mostly in the brain, and also since we want to be able to develop oral medications. We have 2 projects in our platform NeuroRestore, where one of the projects, ACD856, with a focus on Alzheimer's disease, is in clinical phase. It's now in MAD phase. Then we are having Alzstatin, where we are having 2 projects as well, and there we have one in preclinical phase. And then in our Painless platform, we are having ACD440 against neuropathic pain, and that project we have just finished the 1B study and have had positive results there. And then we are having one project in research phase, which is called TrkA-NAM. And as a company, we are now heading into phase 2, and we are truly looking forward to become a phase 2 company. Our primary focus as a company is truly on Alzheimer's disease. And we know that Alzheimer's disease is a devastating disease, both for the patient, the family, and also for society. The patient population, when it comes to Alzheimer's disease, is expected to triple in the next coming 30 years. And why is this? This is due to that we are having an aging population and also a population which are living longer and longer. And the probability to develop Alzheimer's disease and dementia is really big as you get older. When we look at Alzheimer's disease, it is really a progressive and lethal disorder. We can look at the disease and say that divide it into 2 phases. We have pre-symptomatic Alzheimer's and symptomatic Alzheimer's. In pre-symptomatic Alzheimer's, the patient do not experience any symptoms, but the disease is building up through toxic proteins which are developing in the brain, creating plaque, and these are called amyloid beta. And today there are no medications for preventing Alzheimer's disease and the progression. When it comes to symptomatic Alzheimer's, this is the phase where the patients are, where you have symptoms, and the symptoms that you experience as a patient are initially speech problems, memory problems, and over time also affecting your body functions. And today there are some medications when it comes to symptomatic treatment, but these medications aren't very efficacious and also have problems with side effects. So what we can say today is there's a huge unmet medical need for the Alzheimer's patients. And what we can say as well about the market is that the market is huge. This summer in the US, the FDA approved a drug called Aduhelm, also known as aducanumab. And this is an antibody, and if only 5% of the US Alzheimer's patient would be prescribed Alzheimer's disease or prescribed Aduhelm based on the list price, the sales would go up to 17 billion US dollars annually and become the second biggest product in the US. And when it comes to the progression of Alzheimer's disease, here you see a healthy brain, and here you see the brain which, as it looks like when you are having mild Alzheimer, the early stage. And this is the stage where the patients are thought to be prescribed antibodies to prevent disease progression. What we in Alzecure really are striving for is really to work for that the patient or the individual is keeping a healthy brain, because when you have developed Alzheimer, the brain, as you see on the picture, is really, really damaged. So we are really committed to prevent that the brain is being damaged. So how do we do this? We are doing this with two different platforms. Our first platform is called Alzstatin, which is a medication that we are developing, which is should prevent disease progression by focusing on the toxic plaque, amyloid beta. And here we are developing oral medication that you should take at home to prevent the disease. And then we are also having one treatment for Alzheimer's patients who already have developed the disease and are experiencing symptoms. And this is Neuro Restore. Also this an oral medication which is targeting to improve neural function and memory and also learning capabilities. So if we would look at Neuro Restore, the project that we are having in clinical phase, this project here we are focusing on enhancing neural function and cognitive capabilities. And this by focusing on the neurotrophins BDNF and NGF. And we have developed these compounds are very key to improve cognition and also memory enhancement. And we have in preclinical studies shown that we can really improve cognition and memory enhancement. And when it comes to cognitive problems, you don't only see them in Alzheimer's disease, you also see them in Parkinson's disease, sleep disorders, etc. So we see multiple possibilities. Then we also have Alzstatin, where we are focusing on preventing amyloid beta. And here we are focusing on minimizing the production of the toxic amyloid beta, A-beta 42. And this by modulating, cutting smaller fragments of amyloid beta. And how we are different from the antibodies is that we are really focusing on the source for the problem. Then second area focuses on pain and chronic pain. And here we know that in chronic pain, this is very common, leading to suicide as often as depression. Also the most common cause for sick leaves, and also leading to an opioid crisis in the US. So what we know here is that there is a huge unmet medical need. Here we are having two projects, one which is called TrackA-NAM, focusing on osteoarthritis and other severe pain conditions with more than 300 million patients. And then also neuropathic pain, where we have a project called ACD 440, focusing on neuropathic pain with over 600 million patients. And in neuropathic pain, this project is actually built on what this year is being rewarded the Nobel Prize. And this is for the TRPV1 receptor. And we have a novel TRPV1 antagonist. And this is a project where we have confirmed mode of action, which has a very, very strong scientific support, and where we also have results with regard to tolerability, safety, and also efficacy signals, where we this year had positive outcomes. So now we are preparing to file for a phase 2 study. And our key short-time milestone for this year, we have had a readout for painless ACD440 neuropathic pain, which we reached according to plan. Also a positive readout for our NeuroRestore ACD856 against Alzheimer's disease. And we also started a study on NeuroRestore ACD856, the MAD study, which is ongoing. And left for this year, we have to select the CD for TrackA-NAM and also to file for the painless study ACD440. So why is then Alzecure an interesting company to invest in? We say that based, as you have seen on my presentation, we are really targeting conditions of huge unmet medical need. We also have a very strong team with extensive experience and track record. Now we have shown that we are able to target diseases, develop molecules, take them through preclinical and into development. And we also have a platform with first-in-class properties which really can become game changers. And we are doing, as you saw from our pipeline slide, parallel investments where we have potent follow-up programs. And we also are going for indication with multi-billion market opportunities. And now also as a company, we are evolving into a phase 2 company. So a very, very good progress. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, Martin, for an interesting presentation. And with me on stage, I also have Carl Klander from HealthCap. Welcome. Carl, do you have some initial thoughts on this one too?
Yeah, so thanks for a very good presentation. And just one curiosity, I suppose, for trying to prevent Alzheimer's. How do you study that? I mean, it's a huge undertaking, of course, and the studies, I enabled them, or I imagine them to be very long and very large. So
absolutely.
Happy to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so what we are really focusing on is on the build-up of the toxic amyloid beta. And here we have different kinds of tests where you can look at the amounts of A beta 42 and 40 and how this is then increasing in the body. And we know what the normal rates are and what the more lethal rates are. So to identify this as a biologic marker to understand when to treat, that is what we are focusing on. And we are, for instance, working with Henrik Zetterberg in Gothenburg in London to look at these things.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And also coming back to the gamma secretase modulators, I mean, they have been in, or not these specific assets, but gamma secretase modulators have been in the clinics before. And please elaborate on the differentiation here.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to these gamma secretase modulators, there are, to our knowledge, 3 programs which are ongoing. So Roche, for instance, is having one. Pfizer has also had one. And then it's we who are really working on them. And then, of course, we know that there were others which were also focusing on these toxic amyloid betas, but these were then inhibitors which prevented much more substrates. So what we are really focusing on here are A beta 42 instead of really intervening too much in the creating of the upper substrates, which we think are actually meaningful for the body. And what we saw from other studies where they had inhibitors, they led to side effects, which led to actually cognitive decline, which led to that they stopped those projects.
Okay,
interesting.
Thank you.
And you mentioned antibodies, and including Aduhelm. And in terms of kind of the health economic benefits, can you maybe compare your candidate to the antibodies?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, we are so happy that the antibodies are now progressing. But the thing is, when you treat with the antibodies, you have the disease. When you look at Alzstatin, that is for to really prevent that you are developing disease. So, I mean, that is very, very positive for society. And then it also comes to the aspect that if you are going to treat a patient who already are sick, and you need to bring the patients, when it comes to us with antibodies, into the hospital, you need to give them infusion, you need to monitor for side effects, you need to do it on a monthly basis, in certain cases every second week. And here instead we have developing treatment which should be preventive, where you should not need the same type of, how should I say, monitoring. And also when we think about the old people, especially here in Sweden, very many of these are really living alone and so on. And when you have these diseases and you need to go into the hospital, oh, that's heavy, both for the patient, the family, etc. And that is also, when it comes to health economy, we are really focusing on small molecules where you have tablets, which are preventive and which are convenient both for the patients and for society to be able to be as cost effective as possible.
And how does that affect kind of your pricing strategy and the addressable market compared to antibodies you could develop?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the pricing, you really need to calculate on that and see the benefits that you are really able to offer. But I think the pricing here can be very, very positive, and also that you actually can treat a much bigger patient population, and also that you need to go in early. And I think we understand that now, that when it comes to Alzheimer's and really to attack the disease, you need to come in as early as possible, so the toxic substances aren't damaging the brain, because the brain is then damaged and it doesn't restore, if you say like that.
Interesting. Do you have anything to add, Carl, or should I continue?
Please continue.
I was also wondering about kind of the disease modification versus symptomatic treatment, and that's a question that we always get back to more or less, but maybe if you can expand a bit on that, if there's the demand for both, etc.
I would absolutely say there's a huge demand for both. When it comes to, we know that people are developing Alzheimer's disease, and when they have that, they really need to have symptomatic treatments. And for instance, when you have developed Alzheimer's disease and you are treated with an antibody, this is only slowing the disease progression, but these are patients who cognitively are impaired. When it comes to the symptomatic treatment, they are improving the cognition and memory and learning capabilities. So they are improving cognition, and this is not the case with antibodies. So to be able to both slow down the disease and also help with improving learning capabilities, memory capabilities, that's a perfect fit.
Interesting. And we have 30 seconds left. If you can just shortly say what's the most important trigger the upcoming year or so? Just very short.
Wow. I would say neuro restore when it comes to positive readout on our MAD, and then starting the next trial, and then also based on starting our neuro restore program in phase 2, and then we also have several other very interesting things. So we have a busy pipeline, so there's a lot that is important.
Perfect. Thank you, Martin, for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.